Hello, everyone, and welcome to our entrepreneurial chats. Over the next couple of weeks, you will be hearing from some absolutely incredible entrepreneurs who have woven their magic by growing businesses, scaling businesses for exit, for so many different things. And I obviously have a tremendous guy who I've had the pleasure of working with for a long time now, and he is one heck of an entrepreneur. So hello, Paul.
Hi, Susie. Hi, everybody.
Nice to have you on our chat. So let me give you a little bit of information about Paul. And he really is an absolute wow, inspirational entrepreneur. There is no question to it. Since 2000, you have a portfolio of startup companies generating millions of pounds and given employment to many people, from the shipping industry to the drone industry to the health industry, and it can go on and on. You've brought innovative and life-saving products to communities around the world, Paul. You really have. And you've launched volunteering initiatives as well. I mean, it's just incredible. What I think I love most about knowing you, and obviously your life journey so far, is that you have invested in more than £1 million of professional development to employees. I mean, that is so admirable. And we know how important that is for their growth and to give back. So I know that you've got a book coming out towards the end of the year, which will literally be incredible for your followers on the social platforms, for your business connections, the people you mentor. They'll be very excited to read the insights of how you've grown your businesses and how you've scaled them. I mean, I could interview for hours, you know, we've got so much to talk about, but obviously we just have these short chats. So people want to hear your top golden nuggets. So let's get down to it. So welcome again. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. So the first thing I'm going to ask you is, I believe that there's an art of personal leadership to everybody's success, you know, that makes you unique, that brings your strengths to the forefront of you growing your businesses. So what would you say are your three insights that have helped you along that journey of your strengths?
Okay, I can answer this question in various ways. I think I'll start by saying daring to be different. For me, safe is dangerous. You need to stand out, stand for something in whatever you do. If you try to appeal to everyone, you appeal to nobody. The second thing for me would be get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Nice.
The only way you can expand your comfort zone is by stepping outside of that comfort zone. I think the major breakthrough that I had early on in my career was to get comfortable with difficult conversations, with team, with stakeholders, with suppliers, with customers, and actually being candid to ask the difficult questions and then pause to hear the answer and then go deeper by asking things like, what else, what else, what else, to just get really deep to key issues. I learned to drive cars fast around a racetrack, and an instructor said to me, if it feels in control, you're going too slow. And that really resonated with me about 8 or 9 years ago. And I took that into business, because if it does feel that we're in control in entrepreneurship, for me, that means we're going too slow. It means we're not pushing as hard. And that means, again, you're looking to find the limit by exceeding the limit. So it's a series of constant experimentation, by just stretching the realms of the possibility. To some extent, being brave enough to make unreasonable requests or demands or place unreasonable expectations on an organization to stretch the realms of what is possible.
Yeah, you're very, very good at that, because I've seen you in action, but I think it goes deeper than that. I think it actually stretches the people. It stretches the team as well as the organization, and they don't realize what's possible from them. So I know you push the boundaries, and you know, the rest is history. You've produced phenomenal results as an organization, as a team. So well done for that. One thing that I really believe, that uber successful people and entrepreneurs think differently and do things differently. You've given us a little bit of a flavor with that. What would you say are two of your virtues or your values that have supported you along this journey thus far?
It's the mantra that I practice daily, and I catch myself when I veer out of this, and I berate myself with compassion, and it's to only do what only I can do. So for an entrepreneurial type of mindset, it's working on the creative new ideas, it's the experimentation, it's the strategy, it's the leadership. What it's not is the nuts and bolts operational management. That's not to say there are times and places where the sleeves need to be rolled up and get stuck in, but that should be the exception rather than the norm. And I'll give another two actually here. For me, it's starting the day, with an epic morning ritual. I think it was yourself introduced me to Robin Sharma and some of his teachings, and I attended the Titan Summit, I think, at your recommendation. That was a breakthrough bit of learning for me, where we talked about, the 5 a.m. club. And for the last 8 or 10 years, I've risen at or around 5 a.m. and I practice a consistent epic morning ritual, which, is dominated by, thinking, by exercise, by quiet reflection, by mindfulness and meditation, by some strong exercise, all around, making the most of those 2 or 3 hours when the average Joe is still asleep. And I find I get so much done in that peaceful time, not least the time to work on myself and set myself up for an epic day, 7 days a week. Now, I don't always get that right, because I do, you've taught me compassion with myself. It's okay to have a little bit of time. Yeah. It's okay. And actually, it's maybe important and critical to give yourself a break. But those would be 3 things that spring to mind.
Yeah, I mean, yes, you're absolutely right. There is that cliche, but I believe in it, success leaves clues. And if you look at all the successful people who have built organizations, who are successful people in their own right, however we measure success, they do have those morning rituals. There's a pattern, I'm trained to see patterns, and that is a pattern. They have their morning ritual. And I think it's that huge discipline to start the day as you want to end the day. Like you said, the word epic is just brilliant. And I think it raises our mental standards, our social standards, our work standards. Everything gets raised by how we start our day. So that is very key. I totally agree with you on that. Moving on, something that I'm absolutely passionate about is creating a circle of genius, a peer group, if you will, of people around you that can support you. Because like you said, we're human. We want to pick people's ideas, brains. It might give us a creative juice to start a new line of business. We've worked together a long time, and, I really respect and value the fact that we have. And I want to be the best I can be as your outside eyes and ears of the business, and bring all my experience of working with all my clients to you. What 2 arenas would you feel as a generalism that I've supported you with thus far on our journey?
I think it's down to some of the real human factors. One of the words that springs to mind is operating with more curiosity. Seek to understand before being understood. To lead with compassion. To nurture the key relationships, those relationships in business, but equally the work that we've done together, it has been really in the round. We've done some real challenging, difficult, but highly rewarding work around overall relationships, and managing mindset. But I think it all comes back to that word compassion. As an immature leader, I think I lacked compassion. And when you combine compassion with curiosity to understand what's going on in the mindset of the people that you're working with, and actually try to flip each situation to what's in it for them, not what's in it for you as the leader. It's actually what's in it for them, and then lead with authenticity around delivering the outcomes that they seek in their life. Because the principle of reciprocity often then comes into play. They'll then look to help and repay that favor. And everybody's uplifted as a result of that kind of continuum.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, you and I have definitely dug deep on so many subjects, haven't we? And we're still students of life. I believe I am, and I know you are on this journey of life. We want to become. It's a becoming, it's not an end result of, I don't believe we're ever completed a life till we're 6 foot under. We're still curious, we're still searching, we're still raising our standards, and that's wonderful. The next thing I want to ask you is, I truly believe, as we've discussed many times, there is greatness, like you've just alluded to, in everyone. It's bringing that potential to the surface. What 2 distinctions would you say that have been qualities that you've either helped other people develop, or 2 distinctions that can really raise the bar on bringing that greatness out of people? What have you found, Paul?
I think it's kind of discovering, observing true purpose and values, and then living totally congruent in pursuit of that purpose, embracing those values. Now, I'm clear on why I'm here. Every day I connect with my personal mission statement, a vision of what I want to become in the future, and both from a personal perspective but also from a company perspective. It's that why. I think Simon Sinek wrote a book called Start With Why. What is that true sense of purpose that excites you, emotes you, makes you bound out of bed every day? And what are those guiding values which really set the agenda for the behaviors that you show up with every minute of every day? I guess aligned to that is that constant curiosity, that constant thirst for knowledge, to see yourself as a continual student, always looking to learn. The more I learn, the more I want to know. And I think if you can adapt that kind of philosophy and marry that to a principle of servitude within your life for your key relationships, both personally and professionally, I think that really does elevate you as an individual, and it leads to a much more fulfilling existence and arguably more successful professionally.
That's absolutely spot on. I would emulate all of that. And that leads me nicely. You mentioned the book by Simon Sinek. I think one of the things that people like you and I, we strive for information, we strive for knowledge, we strive to be curious. And we've read a lot of self-development books over our journey, our life journey, business journey, listen to podcasts, because we seek to understand and seek to be better than we could be day in and day out. So if you had to name one book or one podcast that really changed a part of your thinking or changed your life or whatever it was, what book could you recommend to the listeners today?
There's a couple of books, and one is really the simplest definition or articulation of strategy. There are so many books on strategy.
Yes.
You can make strategy as complex or simple as you like. And a book that really resonated with me out of all the ones I've read was a book by a guy called Robert Bloom. It's a book called Inside Advantage. And it's simply who, what, how. It articulates strategy in 3 stages. Who, what, how. And overarching all that is the why. But Inside Advantage, I think, is a great book for anybody searching for a simple process to apply when it comes to strategy. The other one, and again, it falls into the perspective of leadership and getting the most out of your relationships professionally. It's a book called Multipliers by Liz Wiseman. And again, it takes you through various principles to attract the best talent into your organization and then to get the best out of it. And that book in particular helped reveal a constraint that was hidden. And that was, I was far too often an accidental diminisher in my businesses in the early days, because I kind of had evolved to think that I needed to be the center of the flow of so much knowledge. And that book gave me a realization to step away from that and help trust and empower the team that I was working with. And that in itself freed me to really start to live the mantra of only do what only I can do. So Multipliers and Inside Advantage would be, two key books out of the, let's say, 400 to 500 or so that I've read over the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic pointers in them as well. And I think the key thing that I picked up from the second one you were saying, it's giving ourselves permission to, as you say, empower others and go back into our own strengths, our own qualities, our own authenticity. It really is, because I think that truly allows people to step up even more. It allows them to grow into their greatness. And that's what entrepreneurialism is, empowering people, isn't it, to become more of who they are. Paul, I could chat to you for hours. These chats are only designed to be 15, 20 minutes. And I know you and I are good chatterboxes. Once you get going, you want to partake knowledge and life's information, and you are uber successful. I know you mentor a lot of people as well, which is great. People have sought you out to mentor their growth in their businesses. So where can people get hold of you? Is there a contact, an email, or somewhere that if people are listening to this and watching this, they might go, I need to talk to him. I have, how can Paul help me? How can I help Paul? Where can they go to?
They can find me on LinkedIn, Paul Luen. They can email me directly, pl@copters, coptrz.com, or my personal website, paulluen.com.
Fantastic. So there's a good combination there, and you're obviously wearing one of the company shirts, which I love to see there, which is superb. Paul, thank you for your time. It's obviously been an inspirational insight to entrepreneurialism, and you and I'll connect soon as we come out of this interesting time. But thank you very much from me to you. Take care.
Stay safe, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.